Wow. Hello everybody, welcome to Sunday Jamz with Joe, Shak and Sam, and today we have a track review, and it is Future's Mask Off, the remix featuring Kendrick Lamar, so let's jam. Future's Mask Off has become quite the trap anthem of 2017.
Quite the banger.
Yeah, it is quite the banger. It's known primarily for its beats. It's got a very...
that flute.
Yeah, that flute, exactly. What has become quite a classic beat now. There was also, it was kind of cringy because Future tried to launch his own meme trend off of it.
Oh, the mask off challenge.
Yeah, the mask off challenge. It's like you can't launch your own meme off your own song. Man. You just
Chris Brown was into it though.
Yeah, no, it caught on,
yeah.
Obviously, but it was still a bit cringy. But yeah, it's definitely a bit of a sensation. I mean, I don't think in the mainstream it's enormous. It's not as big as say Bad and Bougie was.
I am definitely not as huge on this as I was Bad and Bougie. Speaking about the initial release of Mask Off.
Right. Well, I would personally disagree. I probably prefer Mask Off. I personally find Mask Off quite an amazing song. I think it's really, really good. It's one of my favourite songs of the year so far.
I think I prefer Bad and Bougie.
Fair enough. But yeah, coming into this, I have very high expectations in the sense, it's a remix in the end of the day.
It's so obviously cut and pasted, right into the middle of the song.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
The second he finishes what he's saying, it just cuts straight back into the song. It's like...
I know what you mean. It's lazily done. And sometimes, for example, Kanye West's Diamonds of Sierra Leone, and he does a remix with Jay-Z. And in the remix with Jay-Z, it's he does completely different bars. It's the same beat, but he writes a whole new verse for the remix. And it's I feel like Future could have done that, but like you say, it's just a copy-paste job, basically.
There's no acknowledgement from Future that Kung Fu Kenny is about to jump on the track. Which would have been enough, really.
Yeah, it literally feels like copy and paste. But yeah, getting into the Kendrick thing, the first time I listened to this, I feel like I was just happy to hear a Kendrick verse, like I always am happy to hear a Kendrick verse.
Yeah.
But the more I listen to it, I am a bit critical of this verse, and I'll try and explain why. The beginning part, I think, is really great. That whole, I got a halo, that flow. It's a flow that fits this kind of beat.
Yeah.
It has a very simple, repetitive in a good way, and it's catchy in its build, if you know what I mean.
No, I understand. It's probably the part of the verse that fits best into the song, actually.
Yeah. Because in my opinion, personally, Future's flow is perfect for this beat, because it's such a simple flow for such a kind of, not minimalist, that's not the word I'm looking for, but a simple looping beat that it is, And this is just what personally I'm always trying to argue about rap music, is that rap music will never be about just how complex or how fast or how intricate the rapping was. We're making songs here. This isn't a freestyle. This isn't a cypher. This isn't just some, guy in the camera rapping.
Yeah.
This is music. This is crafting songs. And I feel like Future crafted his verse to bounce off a beat, to create this kind of almost, for me, this almost hypnotic feel about the way he raps on it, and the beat to go along with it. And yeah, the first part of Kendrick's verse, I think, absolutely does that. He does switch it up slightly when that whole "all my enemies bite on dust" bit, but overall it's simple, that first bit. And to people being like, yeah, but that's just not Kendrick's style. Think about a song like Money Trees. That's a very simple flow.
Which is referenced in the track, actually.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. But you know what I mean? It's intentionally simple flow to capture the energy that Money Trees is trying to do. Yeah. So Kendrick's perfectly capable of, stripping it back. But I think when it starts getting a bit iffy is when he goes into that whole singing bit.
Oh, it's bad.
Yeah.
When he gets he goes all high and then back down again.
Yeah, it's what?
Doesn't sound good.
No, yeah, it doesn't sound good isolated, and it sounds even worse in contrast with the song.
Yeah.
Do you feel the same, Sam?
Yeah, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of saw elements of this on his latest LP.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, I don't know if it wasn't as pronounced or whatever. It didn't seem to bug me nearly as much on that as it does here.
I just think my main criticism is that he kind of overdoes it, I think.
Right, yeah,
And
definitely.
he's just packing so much he can into like this. He's been given like 40 seconds. Okay, let's go. Like, and he just fucking smashes as much as he can into it.
How can I write the deepest verse of 2017?
Yeah, and it's just like, man, like next to Future and on this beat, it's just like it looks weird and over the top. It's just like
it's like he's got that line, and every time I listen to it, it's just like, what? He's like, I made an oath when my nigga told me to go in. Then he died on a cold bench. And I'm like, mate, this is the Mask Off beat. Why are we talking about friends dying on benches, man? This is far too deep for, like, the vibe that I'm trying to get when I'm listening to the Mask Off beat, man.
They're at odds with each other, the first verse and this verse.
Right, exactly, yeah. And the thing about the complexity of Kendrick's, you know, like after the singing and then his rapping just gets really complex. You know, it sounds like fucking like Eminem rapping, you know. And like the problem I have with that is like it's almost like he's battling to outshine the beat. And like you just can't outshine this flute, man. You can't do it. And what that means is either I focus on Kendrick and I like lose the beat because I have to focus on all this shit he's doing. And that's not good because I don't want to lose this beat. This beat is everything in this song. Or you focus on the beat. And then when you're focusing on the beat in the peripheral, it just sounds messy what Kendrick's doing. If you're trying to vibe to the beat, then it just sounds like a mess on top. So I feel like I can only focus on one of these two dimensions when he gets into the complex rapping. And neither of them are very complementary for the sound.
It's like he knows how to fit in on a song like this. Because again, referring back to Damn, we had the track Yeah, which is actually referenced in this remix with that sample. Like, if he'd done something similar to that track, I feel like it would have gone down a lot better. But instead he goes for that kind of... He kind of goes for that DNA vibe of just like mad switch-ups and shit like that.
Yeah.
And being deep with his bars.
And even DNA has more of a simpler structure when it comes to rhyming patterns and stuff than this. You know, this is almost like feel. You know, he really goes in on feel on DNA. You know, it's real. You know, it's very like complex rapping. It almost feels like that kind of vibe, but it works on feel because of the beat and because of the vibe and shit.
But if there is one positive that I can say about this remix. Is that it was certainly a lot more transformative than I expected it to be. Because I feel like we've talked about that the vibe of the song completely changes as soon as Kendrick's verse comes in, and there's kind of a disconnect between what he's talking about and the beat. When you kind of hear the word remix, you kind of expect to hear the same song but perhaps put through like a different filter. So you have like house remixes or drum and bass remixes or drum step remixes or shit.
Right, I get what you mean,
Yeah, this definitely feels like a new interpretation of the track. Especially
without having to change the genre.
Even if it is just that one last line that specifically refers to taking the mask off so that you can see. It transforms the previous track, which was Future kind of just talking about rags to riches and shit like that.
Right, and drug houses and shit.
Yeah. And now Kendrick's using it as a means to people to stop being blind and in effect get woke to the street violence that's going on. Yeah,
but then again, it feels at odds. Like, this is a song about getting rich and drugs, basically. Molly Percocets, this ain't a deep song. So it's just jarring, I do concede it's definitely transformative. Just because Kendrick, it's almost the jar is what's transformative. Like, it's almost the clash is what makes this, it's what piques my interest about it. But it doesn't make me like it. It makes it interesting, but it still feels like a bit of a jar.
Yeah. While it's admirable that Kendrick can do all of this, it's like there's a time and a place, Kendrick.
Yeah, I think that captures it best. Actually, it's like good verse, wrong track.
Right. Yeah. This verse could work on some fucking jazzy Pimp a Butterfly beat or some shit.
Yeah. Release a Untitled Unmastered for Damn and put this on it.
Yeah. But for the mask off, I don't know. One last thing I want to touch on is the potential. I don't know if you guys know about this. We do because we talked about it during Damn, but I was looking more into it, and Kendrick Lamar and Drake's indirect subliminal beef is very like long going and like pronounced, more so than I thought. Like at first I thought it was theories, but when I really started looking into it, it feels like it's a real thing. And we have another kind of very indirect shot at Drake when he's like, platinum, gotta look at self and ask what happened. How y'all let a conscious nigga go commercial while only making conscious albums?
That's a good diss, man.
Right, yeah, because one of the biggest bars Drake said, which a lot of people interpreted as being a Kendrick diss, he said something like, I would have all your fans if I went back to my conscious shit.
Yeah, it's like, I would have all your fans if I didn't go popping. I stayed on some conscious shit.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. And in terms of the truth of that statement, I'll just say let's let Drake bask in his delusion. But in terms of this being a response to that kind of lyric, I think it's a clever response. You know?
Absolutely, yeah.
Because he is commercial and he is conscious, so why not both? Would be the response to Drake's bar. Why not both?
I interpret the final sample on the track, which is the closing line, which is "Vengeance is mine," said the Lord, as a kind of further intensifier of Kenny kind of saying there is that diss in there and vengeance was
mine.
Yeah, man.
But to be fair, just to clarify that last sample, I think, because I don't know if you guys have ever traced the flute sample back to its source, but it's from a very like deep conscious song about like racism in like the 50s or some shit.
Okay.
And it kind of made people salty that it became a song about drugs, but it's not Metro's fault that he's really good at sample mining. So
yeah, the reason I highlight it is because it's different from the previous one, which was like Cold Chill's Prison Cells, Oh My Lord, Praise Him Be.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, I think it's from the same song.
That's
all I was gonna say. Yeah. But maybe vengeance is mine. But I don't feel like Future is invested in this beef, and like when they're being this like indirect and unclear, like it's easy to overinterpret like what's going on, I guess. So I don't know. Maybe that was to do with the beef, but that wasn't what went off in my head anyway.
Fair enough.
Rating wise, I feel like every time I've listened to it, it's gone down the rating. So I feel like on first listen, it was an 8, then it was a 7, and now I think it might be like a high 6. But I don't know because as I said before, the original is one of my songs of the year, so the original is like a 9 for me. Like, I really love the original song. And it feels weird to give this a 6. Like, it's not that much worse than the original. Like, it's just a bit jarring. So I might stick on a low 7. I might give it a low 7 because the Kendrick verse definitely does not offend me. Like, it's still a good verse. It's just like Joe said, it's just out of place.
My rating, I think I agree with a low to mid 7.
Okay.
I think the original definitely wasn't a 9 for me. I don't love it that much. The beat doesn't carry it that far for me. Not that Future isn't really good on it also, but I'd probably give the original around an 8, and this it's not like awful in comparison. It's just a bit. It's a strange choice.
Yeah.
I feel like Kendrick wasn't perhaps the best person to drop on this Future track, but no, whatever. I still like it quite a lot, so. Yeah. Decent, low to decent 7.
Yeah.
So with like I said at the beginning, the original track, I'm not super hot on it. It would give me something to be turned up to at pre-drinks, and that flute is nice.
It is.
But Future is just so fucking boring, man. I'm sorry. I can't vibe that much to Future. Like I need some hype behind it. So I guess what best describes it is on Jumpman, which was the other Future song that I was really into. That was the beat and Drake that really did it for me. I was annoyed when Future came on the track.
Drake is definitely better than Future on Jumpman.
Yeah.
On Jumpman, yeah, I agree.
And then on this, it was the flute was carrying him the entire way, and the kind of hook, which is a little bit of a meme. I guess in terms of rating for this track, it is, I guess, slightly worse than the original. So I'm feeling a light 6 for this remix.
I definitely get why people find him boring. He's basically done the same thing for years, and it does get boring. Like most Future tracks, I don't really vibe with. But every now and then, he has a song called Codeine Crazy, which is a really cool song as well. And this song, every now and then, he just makes a song where I just feel like it all falls into place for him, myself. And for me, Mask Off was just one of those moments. Thank you, everybody, for listening. If you guys listened to the Mask Off remix, what did you think of it? Was Kendrick Lamar a good addition? Was he a bit out of place? Let us know what you think. Please like, please comment, hit that sub button. hit that juicy red sub button. You know you want to. Just hit it. Just smash it. And also share this video. We'll catch you in the next whatever video we do next. And until then, farewell. Goodbye.